Hi, I'm Lev Astov. I'm a World of Warships enthusiast, and my clanmates and friends have frequently asked me what mods I recommend, and so I've decided to put together a short video. First things first, you got to get the mod station. I'll provide a link in the description, but you can also just Google Warships mod station. It is provided by Wargaming themselves, so you know it is legit and they won't ban you for it. And if they do, they will have banned a lot of people for it, so there'll be a giant fire. So that's the one I recommend you go with. There's other ones out there, but they're much harder to use. This one automatically updates and everything, so it's wonderful. So get it, install it, and let's select a client. I have the default install location for my game, so it has automatically detected it. If that's not there, you will have to click to add a game client and search through here to find it. But here we are. It says it has 0 mods installed, so let's get some mods. There are lots and lots of things to choose from in here. Many of them are cosmetic. You can do all kinds of things with camos, like one that changes all the wild camos to more normal camos. So if you hate that people have flaming pink camos, you can turn that on. But I'm only going to go over the essentials here. Feel free to peruse this yourself afterwards and choose what suits you. First things first, one of the most important ones in here is the better dynamic crosshairs. We'll talk about that a bit more later, but you want one of the nomogram ones. These adjust the scale as you aim around, helping you aim at moving targets better. More on that later. At the end, I will show you how to install that and enable it in the game. Nothing else here, I don't think. We go over to combat. There's a whole ton of stuff here. First things first, here is Assistant. When you hold Alt to bring up the alternative interface, or if you just have it enabled, you will get these little green numbers underneath the ship information, which show you their standard maximum speed and their standard torpedo range. That is super useful when you're leading targets, and when you want to know, can they hit me with torpedoes right now? Then we've got detection timer. It will show a little countdown to when your detection will run out and you will be hidden again. Very, very useful, and I know some superhumans can keep track of that stuff during the heat of combat in their head. For the rest of us, this will give us a number that we can quickly glance at and see, oh yeah, 3 seconds until I can go dark, so I'm going to stop shooting. Then we've got running lights. Gives you a forward, stationary, or reverse indicator to the ship you currently have locked. A little red light will appear above them if they're currently backing up. This judges it itself, so it won't show you the moment they start reversing, but the moment they really start going backwards, you will see that change. Then we've got, let's see, score timer. This will help you in competitive play. It shows a time to maxing out score next to each team. So in this case, your team will win in 6 minutes with the current point income, while the red team will take 12.5 minutes before they win. This is very useful when you're down to the wire and it's down to seconds, and you can make the call to go dark and disappear, or you've got to kill that person. Then we have Regen Assistant. There's a couple things to choose from here, actually, and I like to use both, but Regen Assistant is really the one you want. That's the bare minimum. This is going to illuminate the section of your ship you can repair when you max out your ability to repair. Sometimes you can kind of judge that, but it'll both give you a number and it will flash that when you're good to go on max usage of your repair. It also accounts for whether you've got the repair flag on. Let's see, damage meter. Not a huge deal, but it gives you a list of damage received by who. So if you haven't spotted someone and you take a nasty hit, you know, oh, that was the Yamato. That's pretty nice to have. Then we've got, let's see, ship list. Yeah, these guys. A few different things to choose from here. This changes that list at the top of the... Where are we? You know what I mean. It changes the list at the top of the screen, these guys, into one of these here. And some people like the overall team health pool. I much prefer knowing that there are a few very low health ships alive and I need to hunt them down. So if that Eagle disappeared with only 10% health left, he will stay at that. Now, if he hasn't been spotted and he takes a torp, you're not going to see that change, not until he's spotted again, because this only updates when their health actually shows up to the whole team. Server doesn't actually report it otherwise, so that's how it works. But very, very useful. This one gives a little more, version 2 gives some more information like how many people they're spotting, but yeah, it's up to you. A little bit of visual overload there, I think. Let's see, smoke timer is pretty nice. Not essential, but this is a much more visually noticeable way of seeing when the first and last deployed smoke you've received will run out. It's going to have like a little pie graph thing here counting down. You can just kind of glance at it and see, oh, it's red, it's going to go down soon. I like that one. Then we've got the most important one of all is Navigator. This is the one everyone wants. This is the thing you come here for. This shows your enemy's angle relative to your angle. It'll help you adjust yourself so you're just under that 30-degree angle you want for most ships, and you'll be able to tell whether he's perfectly broadside or starting to turn out or starting to turn in. It'll also show little degrees in there, which you can see, oh, that's going up. I know he's turning out now. Very, very useful for long-range shots at targets. You can't quite tell whether they're turning in or out. And a couple more things here. In port, we've got, again, kind of minor stuff, but I really recommend Stingy by default because wargaming defaults to charging your doubloons when you go to demount things or whatnot. This changes that to defaulting to credits. And there are a few places where it doesn't do this, but in things like flags and demounting and the commander respecs, it will do that work for you. I've definitely been bitten before this came out by accidentally forgetting to change it to credits or unchecking that in the flags thing, so it's good to have. Then we've got Simple Crew. Very, very useful if you have a large number of premium ships that you move the same commander between. It lets you mark that commander as primary on each ship. So in the ship, when that commander's on there, you'll get his little drop down, you'll mark him as primary, and then when you want to move him back to that ship from another one, there will just be a button that says bring back primary crew. I forget the wording exactly, but you'll click the button, he'll pop back on. It cuts out mouse clicks in seconds. It's very valuable. I like that. And let's see, a couple more is replays. Most competitive people want replays on. They only take up a couple megabytes each, so you might just turn off the limit and have an unlimited number. Normally it's limiting you to only storing like the last 30 games or so, something like that. I just leave that on. If I want a replay, I usually know within minutes of it happening, so that's fine for me. And very last but not least, the thing I came to the modding world for is something that changes the mouse color to be anything but the same color as everything in the background of the game, dull gray. I don't know why they chose dull gray for the mouse. It's much better as a yellow, so I like that. Many other things, choose for yourself, but once you got them all, you'll hit install, it'll download, and you can hit play. I'm going to show you in just a moment how to actually set up the Nomogram Classic thing, so stand by. All right, so here we are in my port with the Sharkmobile. You'll want to go to Settings, and it's under Controls, Crosshair, and here's where we choose our crosshairs. You might have defaulted to static, so you'll have to click over to dynamic. Then you get this little drop down to choose Nomogram Classic. That's what I like. Any of the Nomogram ones will do. This is going to make it so that as you aim up and down, closer and further away from you, this scale will adjust. And how you use this is if you've got a ship, say you've got a ship over here and he's going to starboard here, well, depending on your angle, but he's going to the right in your view, and you want to hit him. You want to look at what your time of flight is and try to judge what his speed is. If your time of flight, when you hit Alt or have the alternative interface enabled, it'll be a little number down here, and it might be like 4 to 10 seconds, something like that generally. And if it's 4 seconds, and you can tell from that other mod that his max speed is 30 knots, you want to use the top scale. The top scale is sized for 30 knots, and with a 4-second time of flight, you want to be aiming here. So if he's here, going to the right, when you fire here, with him lined up with that, those shells are going to essentially arc up and over and hit the 4 mark in 4 seconds. Now, if he's a slow boat and he's going only 20 knots, you use the bottom scale. It's 30 knots for the top, 20 knots for the bottom, so you'd be aiming there. They'd arc over, hit in there. That's generally how that works. You have to kind of adjust for yourself when they're going 40 knots or 50 knots, but this is covering the basics for most of the ships out there. Save it, and back to your game. Good luck out there, and let me know if you recommend any other mods I've missed. We'll see about remaking this video again. I've already done it like 4 times because I keep being like, oh, I forgot the regen assistant. But anyway, good luck out there, guys.